Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mr. Happy, aka Mr. Happy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. So first of all, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and they're looking forward to the new year. It was also my birthday today, the day I'm recording this, not the Monday that you're watching it, so yay! 25 years old now. Exciting. Anyway, moving on from that, I hope everybody had a good holidays. Hopefully you got some stuff that you wanted. Hopefully you spent some time with your families. And hopefully you stayed safe. The most important thing. Second on the list, videos, things. I didn't do a whole lot of videos this last week. I didn't release a video Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or today, Sunday, that I'm recording. Monday will be the first video, and it's kind of expected. It's a holiday season, you know. My girlfriend's here. She's not here in the room right now. She's in the other room while I record this. But she's visiting, and then once, January 5th rolls around, we'll be moving back to LA. I'll be moving to LA, and she'll, I'll be following her home, pretty much. Not in a creepy way. But anyway, yeah, soon a whole new adventure is going to be starting. Starting 2016 off on the right foot. Moving forward in life. And I did a video for my subs over on Twitch, and I just want to say here as well, it means a lot to me that you guys still ask questions every week, that you guys still watch the videos whenever I post them, that I feel like my career is justified. When I look at the numbers, when I put it all together, when I look, yes, I can do this for my future. I can move forward in my future. And I'm not like, I can't do it. I don't have the money. It's a good feeling. And I have you guys to thank for this. I have those over at Twitch to thank for it. And honestly, I couldn't say thank you enough for everything you guys have done. So let's get another solid episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy underway, and then we can all go back to eating our leftovers for our Christmas dinners and whatnot. All right, first question. Hey, Happy, hope you're having a great week. Listening to week 71 while writing this. Glad you're enjoying it, my man. Here's my question. Also, I also see it's your first ever post on the forum, so thank you for being a first-time poster. I will take a poetics bonus. Actually, no, I need law bonus now. Never mind, law bonus. I bought Final Fantasy XIV yesterday, and while gigabytes are being downloaded, I'm having an existential crisis. I can't say that word. Existential. I think I got it right the first time. What job do I want to play? This is a question I get a lot. From your versus videos, Warrior, Astrologian, and Scholar were the jobs that caught my eye. The issue is that my internet is not the best, and I see myself picking up playing with a bit of ping. I don't know how this will hinder my ability to heal or tank. Any advice? So the only job that we usually don't recommend for that is Ninja, and even now, even with latency, Ninja's not as bad as it used to be. I guess it depends on what kind of latency we're talking about. Is it latency like, oh, my global cooldowns don't go as fast as I want them to, in a sense that, like, you're hitting them and you're trying to use abilities in between them, and it's a little bit off. If that's the case, tanking and healing is kind of rough because it's a little bit more reactionary. Tanking is a lot of premeditated motions, so even with the latency, you just have to compromise. Like, you have to be like, okay, I know I have latency. My action has to be like X amount, like 1/5 of a second faster. You would be fine doing Warrior. I personally feel you'll be perfectly fine. I say give that a shot. You're gonna have to level a few other things with it in order to get to the point where it's good for you, like Gladiator and what was the other one? I'm forgetting right now. Pugilist. But I think all of those also you won't have latency issues unless it's extreme latency. That might cause issues. And if then, use What the Fast or Battle Ping or a program like that if you can afford it. Hopefully that helps you out, and hopefully that helps other people with latency issues that may have had that question as well. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, happy holidays and happy birthday. Thank you, my good friend. I have a moderately long question for you this week. In my free company, Link Shell and official forum, I hear players that are unsatisfied that 3.0 is turning out to be a copy of 2.0 with some changes. For the most part, it's the same old, same old. This is my first MMO. I didn't play 11, WoW, any other MMO. I played entirely 2.0, and I absolutely enjoy it. You mentioned that you played 11 for 7 years. I'm curious if this has how all MMOs operate, with each expansion being a mirror to the previous. Also, Square Enix do go ahead with 4.0 being a mirror to 3.0, which seems like right now it is a mirror to 2.0. Then how long of a lifespan does 14 have? That is a great question, actually. Very well written, very well thought out. So first of all, I want to say thank you for a very, very high topic question right now. It's a very, very high priority topic right now, I should say, if I'm going to speak properly. So 3.0 takes what was a successful formula for 2.0, or the 2.x series, and is now evolving and building on top of it. They want that baseline formula because it's a satisfactory amount of content. You get the new raid, you get the new dungeons, you get the new story, you get new quests that you can do daily for more rewards, for experience points, for gil. You get these features that were built and then they're expanded upon. The hunt, diadem is going to be added to, or I should say exploratory missions eventually will be added to and enhanced. I'd say that they're right in following a formula But what's really important is the way they break from that formula. And I think 3.1 and 3.2 are the first big attempts to do that. Lords of Verminion, with some changes, I think a lot more people will enjoy. I think you need to be able to queue from Gold Saucer games from outside the Gold Saucer. I know they want to populate the Gold Saucer, so it doesn't seem like a waste of server space, but no matter what, you're just wasting server space with the Lords of Verminion and Chocobo Racing servers anyway. So I'd say that needs to be the one quality of life change to the Gold Saucer right now, and they shouldn't develop any more content for it until they can make it so you can queue for those activities from outside of the saucer. 2, PvP. Seal Rock was a huge success. Regardless of how you feel about 14's PvP, everybody seems to love Seal Rock, outside of hating their teammates for not following the objectives. Secure and Slaughter, while they're not as popular, people still enjoy them in 24-man quantities quite a bit. I think those need to be brought up to level 60. And the Feast sounds like a great way to enjoy PvP without a Grand Company restriction, another big thing people wanted. It's got multiple kinds of PvP, it's got competitive PvP, it gives PvP gear a meaning. So again, a lot of things are building on the systems they initially created. And I think that's going to be the important thing. Make sure you have that thing that got you successful there. Never stray from that, but evolve, change, make things that are a little bit crazy and then adjust them till they're perfect. I think 4.0 will see a little bit more craziness. I think right when the expansion hit, I think right when we get this expansion announcements in the fan festival, you're going to see some insane things that you didn't think they would do, but they're things that you probably wanted for quite a while. So Final Fantasy XI didn't have this because Final Fantasy XI didn't raise its level cap until the side scenario Abyssi, or Abyssia, whatever it ends up being called. I've heard both pronunciations. And then, of course, Seekers of Adulin, once it was the level cap was 99, it released with more level 99 content with the item level added into the game as well. So it didn't become an issue with 11 till more recent years, and what they're doing is basically updating all old content to be relevant at the new level/item level area. So I think 14 has a perfectly fine lifespan. It's all about how much they can evolve and how it retains interest. Because ultimately, the majority of people who are actually paying to play the game don't care if it's the same formula as long as the content is fun. Most people play it a month, unsub, play it a month, unsub, and they do that. And it's for them, it's a satisfactory enjoyment. It's a satisfactory thing to do. And then us hardcore players, we don't stop playing pretty much ever. So I think it's in a perfectly fine place. I think the criticisms are perfectly fair that have been coming out recently, but don't worry, the health of the game is perfectly fine. Anyway, great question. Hopefully it was a satisfactory answer. Let's move on to the next one. Next question. Hey Hap, hope you had a very Merry Christmas and a great birthday. Good so far, my friend. So here's a chocolate cookie cake. You, sir, just found the way to my heart. Or madam. 2 questions this week. I have White Mage to 60, but I feel like it's lacking with just spell speed. I like classes that require support class mainly, which is why I'm thinking about changing to Astro. Just want your opinion on this. Spell speed is usually the same length for the other... Oh yeah, the spell speed on all of them is going to be the same. The only thing is you have a spell speed cooldown on White Mage, and you sort of have one on Astro, but it's not spell speed, it's just cast speed that it increases. But they all have great utility. White Mage's utility is not its strongest point, its powerful heals are its biggest points, and it's pretty good, damn good AoE damage on top of its utilities that it can cross-class and whatnot. If you're looking for something with crazy support and utility, Astro and Scholar definitely fill that niche a little bit better, but that doesn't mean White Mage is bad. So don't expect the spell speed to change all that much though either. That's really something that White Mage kind of specializes in, and it's a great stat for White Mages and Astrologians, in all honesty. The other question is, I work a lot but can't seem to find a raid group for 2 a.m. after work. Anything you should do? You may need to bite the bullet and play on a server that's from another region. Like, at 2 a.m. is such a rough time. You either need just... Tonberry might be a good server for you. Maybe. I would say you're going to need to do some searching around, because I'm only on Gilgamesh, so I don't know the crazy raid times like that. I'd say look around. Look on some of the European and Japanese servers. If you may need to buy, like, What the Fast or Battle Ping, like I was mentioning before with the other latency. But if you do that, you may be able to play at a satisfactory level. Just, it's rough, you know? But don't give up. That's all I'll say. Just, you got to keep looking. You just got to look in places that maybe are outside of your server. All right, this next question is a long one, but luckily I can see there's a TLDR bolded, so thank you, question asker. Hey, yo, Mr. Happy, long-time viewer, first-time asker. Thank you for asking a question this week. Have a gift card, good for 1 bonus of your choice. This is the guy I like. Give me that law bonus, baby. Because I'm bad at the whole gift-giving thing. I'm awful at it, don't worry. Anyway, I have a couple of quick questions. So just for the sake of speeding things up, I'm just going to go straight to the bolded point. Is there a more reliable way for a PS3/PS4 player to know who's the best target for a balance? An Astro question, no doubt. And normally, it just comes down to what you know about the group of people you're playing with. If you see, for example, if you see a Dragoon that doesn't have heavy thrust on for 30 seconds, don't give him the balance. If you see that there's a monk who's constantly moving between areas of the boss and you see they're keeping dots up and whatnot, give it to that guy. If you don't trust anyone, well, give it to one of the melee DPS usually. If you see a single target Doton, don't give it to the ninja. Like, you just got to look for misplays and be like, okay, this person's doing this thing that's totally not correct. Not giving it to that person. Pretty much the way that I do it whenever I'm on my Astro, since I don't run with any parsers or anything whenever I'm, especially not when I'm doing like regular 4-man content or anything like that. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to. It's easier if you play with people at a consistent rate. It's harder when you're doing pugs because sometimes there is no good choice, in all honesty. So hopefully that helps. Just look for people's play mistakes and then don't give it to that person. If they're both making mistakes, then educated guess, you know, at that point, you know, whoever it can. Also, second question, is there more to your Bloodborne DLC? Yes, there is. There's 3 parts, and I actually already have them all separated. I just forgot to upload them, so I'll make sure to do that this week. Thank you for the reminder. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy. Happy belated birthday, bro. Hope it was a blast. Thank you. My question is, do you think Square Enix will bring the big nerf back to the Relic weapon phase that takes I-200 to 210? In 3.25, yes, there will be a nerf. There will absolutely be a nerf at that point. But before 3.25, I sincerely doubt it. One thing they're actually doing is they're going to increase the lifespan of a completed anima weapon in patch 3.25 and 3.3. So in 3.2, we're not going to get the next upgrade. So in other words, you'll use it for progression, maybe, and otherwise, you know, it's whatever. You'll replace it if you're doing, you know, weekly tombstone caps and whatnot. Tombstones of Transcendence, I believe they're going to be called, or something along those lines. But in 3.25, it can match the Transcendent weapons, and then in 3.3, it's going to match an upgraded Transcendent weapon, most likely. So that way, it's a near best on slot or a best on slot option from 3.3 through to 3.4, so 3 to 3.5 months. So you don't, and also, the steps are going to be easier. They're going to be shorter than this anima weapon step line, a step line anima weapon quest for the I-200 to the I-210, just because they had to make this match the Savage difficulty, and Savage's rewards were on equal tier for A4 Savage at the very least, so that issue should be gone in 3.2 going into 3.3. So I expect the entire quest line to be a lot simpler to get through, with especially with the nerf to this step probably coming in 3.25. So I would say go at it casually. There's no reason to rush it right now, especially if it's not a best in slot weapon. Do your daily stuff, work on other things, but don't stress it too much because yes, it will get nerfed at some point. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, here's a 2,000 poetic bonus. That's 2 more items, man. I can use that on my next anima weapon because I'm done with poetics on my main currently. 1, do you think Black Mage is overpowered compared to melees? No, but Black Mages are really fucking strong. The thing is, Black Mages just literally, you will make all sacrifices to make sure a Black Mage's damage is really, really, really good. And that's their strength, is not needing to move and just pumping out damage. Our group always makes concessions for Black Mages. Stand in that AoE. We'll move around you. Eat that one piece of damage. Don't even bother attacking this ad. We don't even make our Black Mage do the ad, the alarms on A1 Savage. We just have the healer bring it over, and the Black Mage just fire 4s it like he would in his normal rotation. So his damage is like never dropping unless he needs to dodge the resin bombs. So I don't think Black Mage is overpowered. I think that the buff that they got back in like 2.3 wasn't needed. But then on top of that, they are just so good if you can master a fight and have a group that is willing to make sacrifices in other places, or change your strategy, I should say, just to make sure your Black Mage can go full ham. 2, how would you handle breaking up a static to start a new one? A3 Savage is not possible with my current group, and it's really annoying. You look at who you can keep, who you can shed. I hate to use that word. And then you try to fill slots, but the one thing you have to keep in mind is don't try to fill the slots and leave people raidless, because there's a chance people will literally just leave because like, oh, this static's not here, let me look for something else. So I mean, the bottom line is you just got to do it. Like, you can't just beat around the bush and be like, ah, well, you know, I don't want to do it because then I won't have a static, but if I stay, I'm never going to beat this fight anyway. So that's pretty much your only choice. You just gotta say, guys, we're completely revamping it. We're going to get new people in. I'm sorry, those of you who are no longer a member, and people are going to hate you no matter what. This is a situation where you will not get out of this without the people you boot, or if you break the static up entirely, these people will hate you for it. There's no way around it, because no matter what, you're either questioning their commitment, you're questioning their skill, or you're questioning the amount of time that they can put in. So you're going to make enemies out of this, but hopefully you can build something stronger afterwards, and hopefully those people still enjoy playing the game for what they, for the aspects of it that they do enjoy, or they find other statics and begin to improve. And also, I would like to remind you this: A5 through A8 are going to be easier than A3 entirely, I imagine. So that problem will disappear in that patch. So maybe you guys just take a break until then. It's hard to tell. There's lots of options, but this kind of static that, depending on how you're doing in A3, may still be able to beat A5 through A8. So that's another thing to keep in mind right there. Hopefully that was useful advice, but just got to do it, man. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and wish you a good move to the West Coast, aka the best coast. I'm going to have to agree with you shortly. I can't keep defending the East Coast if I'm not living here. A friend of mine, a tank main, and I have been having this debate for a short while, and I'd like some impartial advice. TLDR, should summoners swiftcast Shadow Flare during Dreadworm Trance, or save swiftcast for resurrections and resummons? So first of all, you never want to assume that someone's just gonna die and fuck up, or that your pet is gonna die because you fucked up. You can't ever just assume that's gonna happen every fight, and never use swiftcast. Swiftcast is going to be used on your Shadow Flares. That is its #1 use, unless part of your strategy deliberately calls for people to die, like A4 Savage. That is the only place that you're gonna see people absolutely save swiftcast, because you don't want to have to hardcast that as the DPS. So no, yeah, you're gonna swift Shadow Flare. It's not your job to sit there on your swiftcast button for 10 minutes in case somebody fucks up. It's their job not to fuck up. That's the way that I like to put it. So I'm gonna assume your tank friend told you to wait for it. So yeah, don't you should be swiftcasting Shadow Flare. That's all that really needs to be said. Next question. Hey, Senor Feliz. Not a first-time poster, but you can have an unidentifiable shell for your birthday. I already have all my shells, but I'll take it for my next anima. Following your advice on my previous question some weeks ago, I decided not to spend my savings on a PS4, but join the master race to get a gaming PC. I never said that. You're rewording my advice, man. That's never said that. To have access to Battle Ping or What the Fast. Do you know of any good information source on PC building and such topics? Is there any good reason not to get a gaming laptop instead of a desktop? So laptops are generally more expensive for less power. You're trading away the power for the ability to take the gaming with you on the go. So if you don't care playing at like lower graphics or lower frame rates, slightly lower frame rates at the very least, gaming laptops aren't too bad. If you're someone who wants the game to run smoothly at like max settings, you're going to want a gaming PC. That being said, gaming PCs, there's a lot of websites you can check. There's websites that will pre-build them for you, and then there's websites where you can get the parts and build them yourself. You're going to spend a lot more money on websites like iBuyPower or Origin, but that's only because they need to charge a manufacturing fee. They need to get these parts together. They need to put the computer together themselves. So yes, it's going to be more expensive, even if you're getting the parts at retail value. The other thing is there's a lot of them, but I haven't used them in years because I haven't had time to build PCs since like 3 years ago. When I built my friend's PC and I built my PC before his. So what's the name? PC Parts something? I can't remember. It's PC Parts something. I can't remember the full name of the website, but for the laptop question, hopefully it was a good answer. And I would just say, don't just go to the first place you look. Try to find multiple places and hopefully read the comment section of this video, because I'm sure somebody will post about it. And if you can, guys, don't type the website because it's going to get registered as spam, but give him an idea of what to Google. Like Google this thing and you'll find a website that you'll need. Hopefully that helps out a little bit, man. Next question. Hey Haps, happy Monday. Have a Tim minion. Yo, we got Tim, and then in A5 Savage we have Tim and Bob, so I can't wait. So my question is, how would you feel about a Magus Sisters fight? I want it. It's a fight that needs to happen at some point, you know? It needs to happen at some point. It's a fight that has so much potential, like CLG. Should happen. I don't want to guess the attacks because I mean it's an easy thing to do, but it would be such a good fight. I can't wait till it's gonna happen at some point. I know they'll make it happen at some point. Next question. Happy name day, Mr. Happy. Thank you. Well, name day was, well, I guess technically as I'm reading this, it's name day, so yay. I brought you those much requested poetics tomes. A second, I can use them on my next anima, and increasing your cap to 3,000. Yes. Yes. Only if that carries over to SOs when those become uncapped up. What would you think about an endurance fight? Fights that are roughly mid-core difficulty, but very long. Honestly, I'm not a big fan. Final Fantasy 11 pretty much were all super stupid easy fights that took like 30 minutes. And it just tested your ability to stay awake and your patience to never like have a misheal or anything like that. Even if the fight was like, oh, okay, AoE, boom, done. Oh, okay, single target damage. Okay, boom, done. Are you wearing the right gear? Oh, I don't want that. It would just, it's not fun. Like, especially if you wipe. Like, yeah, the idea of it is cool. And it probably has some, you know, good idea. Like, it's cool. I'd rather do a fight in a low item level scenario that it's the same encounter as opposed to doing a super easy fight with the gear that I have, middle core as you call it, and it'd be 30 minutes. Like, that's just not fun to me because it's at some point the mechanics just keep repeating, and it's like, okay, I've already seen all the mechanics, now I just have to do them for 30 minutes, and my nose won't stop itching. So I don't know. I'm personally not a fan of any such idea. It just doesn't seem fun to me. Next question. Let's play a little game, Hap. Guess the question. Easy mode. Extra challenge. Sing it. Wouldn't it be nice to have the beast tribes available in the character creator? Wouldn't it be nice to have an indicator which shows you your position to the enemy that already exists? Wouldn't it be nice to get a 24-hour no duty finder penalty when abandoning content in the first 10 minutes? There we go. So anyway, the second one already exists, by the way. The enemy has an arrow for the front. It's got a designation for the side, and then if there's no ring around it, it's the back. So that already exists to some degree. It's just not like a legit, like, this is your indicator, motherfucker. Like, it's just not all up in your face. I don't know why the beast tribes would be available in the character creator, because you can't create them. It's like a tease. It's like, hey, these are the beast tribes. You're never going to be that, but here you go. And, would it be nice to get a... No, because I want those people to be penalized. At the very least. And what's this? Happy birthday! I answered it on Sunday. Thank you for the happy birthday. And hopefully you enjoyed the questions, or the answers, or the singing, whatever. Moving on. Next question. Hey, Happy. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and a happy birthday. As a present, the Lalafell Elf Minion, I call him Chippy, and 18 Vonu tokens. Sure, I can use those. I can buy an ore with those. Anyway, I'm sort of piggybacking on someone else's question from last week in regards to the Eggy Glamour system. My apologies, the text might be long, but the questions are short. Are the questions TLDR'd? You got a TLDR them, man. All right, well, it looks like you start with a question. Why do you think Square Enix doesn't seem to be focusing on the content? I'm glad you put that in quotes when talking about the Eggy Glamour system that they know people are asking for. Let's see, but certain things like certain adjustments. Okay, so certain adjustments to current content are not always things you can do. Like, you can't just outright change current content because it's, you know, you identified it as a mistake. Because a lot of the times that'll delay the development of future content. So it's better to recognize and admit this is where our mistakes were, this is where we are going forward, than it is to go, yeah, we're just changing it. And we don't care, and it's going to affect the way that we have to tier our progression going forward, but fuck it, we'll just change it. Grand Company rank, they've already addressed. The thing is, a lot of these things you've addressed. Adjustments to current content, I just said. The Eggy Glamour system, it's not important. It's literally something that people will go, ooh, for 5 minutes, pick the Eggy they like most, and be done. Either that, or they're going to make it a hunt of some sort, where you have to go find your glamour somehow, or you have to roll on the glamour from the primals, which is cool in theory, but I don't know how long that would necessarily last. Inventory issue. They've explained that a million times. It's the rate at which they save space, so they need a lot of server space in order to expand that, but it is something they're working on. Grand Company rank, they said when we have something that's worthwhile to give it to increase, like, they're not going to just increase it for no reason. They want it to have something like, oh, there's this new feature, and the Grand Company rank, you need the new Grand Company rank to get it. Male only that's whatever. Like, I can't defend that. I don't glamour, so I mean, it's whatever. I just think all of them being unisex would be fine. They don't remain silent on any of it. They comment on all of it, and they update you when they have something to update you on. They're not gonna go out of their way to say, no, yeah, we know, but you know, it's not, we haven't done anything yet. Like, they're gonna wait till they have something to tell you before they tell you about it. That's it. And let's see, what's it called? I don't think they've lacked developing content. They've just tried so many new things at once, and none of them did particularly fascinate the community. Like adding an RTS to an MMO, you have no guarantee people are going to be even interested in an RTS inside your MMO. And on top of that, we already discussed that earlier. Diadem, great idea on paper, not the greatest execution. They've already addressed what they're doing going forward. Give it more direction, give it more benefits, give it more guaranteed benefits, so you have a guaranteed reason to be running it. Make sure it's a place for people to go to Spirit Bond and get materia. Make sure it's a place that has meaning, and also make sure that it doesn't overshadow raid gear. Like, they've already addressed a lot of the stuff where things went wrong and where they are going forward. So I don't think they've necessarily lacked on delivering content. They've lacked on executing it, because the content is there, but it wasn't executed on fully. And we've already got update plans from them, especially from the most recent live letter. So I do agree it's in an awkward place, but luckily I've never seen the game more active, or I haven't seen the game this active since really Heavensward launched. So I'd say overall things are doing pretty good. And when 3.2 hits, I have a feeling people are going to fall in love with the Feast, the new Alexander Savage, and probably the changes to the Diadem. Next question. Hello, Mr. Happy. Since it's the last Mondays of Mr. Happy of the year, it is last one of 2015. I think it's time for the traditional look back question. So here it is. What was your best, worst moment of the year gaming? I don't really keep track of that. My worst moment? Maybe when I played like Black Desert a few weeks ago. Like that was probably the least fun I've had playing a game in a long time. So I'd call that my worst moment, I guess. Best moment was really probably PAX and like TwitchCon, getting to spend those with my girlfriend. Those were great moments. So if I can count those both as one conventions, as one event, then sure. What was the funniest game or gaming moment you had? Oh, Just Cause 3 was fucking hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing at that game and just trying to come up with crazy shit to do. It was just so much fun. What was your favorite content patch in 14? 2.5 hit earlier this year, didn't it? I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with 2.5. 2.5 was a lot of fun for me, and I spent a lot of time. We did a lot of growing in the Final Fantasy 14 community since that time, and we're still growing. So I'd say, yeah, 2.5, definitely. And finally, your favorite game of the year. Oh, I'm never good at this. I never have a favorite game of the year. Fallout 4 was so good. Bloodborne was phenomenal. I'm going with Bloodborne. Bloodborne's my answer. I fucking love Bloodborne so much. So much so to the point where I can just play it, just to play it, like any time, and I'll have fun. Which is a big deal for me, because a lot of the times I finish a game and I put it down, I'm like, never touched again. But here, I enjoy the hell out of it. So hopefully that answered all your questions. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, hope you had a good Animumus. God damn it. I have a Healer Happy minion bonus. Oh, I haven't played Healer Happy in a while. I've been hearing and seeing a lot of issues with Paladin. These are always fun. And generally inferior tanks to the others. See, I don't agree with that statement. I do agree that there are some things they could improve. I think it's the fights that they designed were not well balanced for Paladin. A1, no physical damage from anything. A2, lots of physical damage, but no AoE. No, they can't do any AoE damage. A3, okay, boss has a cleave, but he doesn't have like a super tank buster, and 90% of the damage is magical. And then A4, no physical attacks on anything but the doll. And while they're great on the big doll, the Straff doll, that's okay. What about the rest of the fight? Like 6 of those spawn in the whole fight. You're not going to bring a Paladin just for that. I think the issue was the fights weren't beneficial enough to Paladin. If you look at Thornton, that was a fight where Paladin did really fucking well. If we got more fights like that, I think people will stop saying Paladin is quote-unquote inferior. It was also the super intense need for DPS. That was another reason, and that's not going to be an issue anymore. We already know that. And then on top of that, so you're suggesting that they're better as an off tank, maybe, and that was actually the case back in A Realm Reborn, where it was more raid DPS to have a warrior main tank and a paladin off tank than to have a paladin off tank and a warrior main tank. Now, things have changed a little bit because of Deliverance and because Dark Knight also does a lot of damage. So, Paladins and, Warriors and Dark Knights are tanking in their DPS stances and still doing fine. So, that barely seems to be the case anymore. Whereas a Paladin can do that. They can tank and Sword Oath, but the question is, what's the higher raid DPS output now? And I'm inclined to believe it's still the same way, that like Paladin off tank is still the way to go. The problem is, if you're going to have your Paladin off tanking, Clemency doesn't have much use. Like, yeah, they can heal the main tank, but that's time they're not DPSing. They're not getting the beneficial heal that they get on themselves, which is another issue. Clemency gets interrupted. Cover on the main tank okay, but if they're taking a stacking debuff, you can't do that. You'll cover somebody else for another reason usually, unless you're doing like a hollow cheese or something like that. So there's a lot of things. I think they just need to design better fights for Paladin. Not that Paladin is underpowered, though there are things I would shore up about their gameplay patterns. And the DPS is a big part of it. So we'll see what happens in 3.2 though. God, my nose will not stop itching. It is insane. Hello, Happy. Not new, but you can have poetics anyway because rules are made to be broken. Thank you. Now for my question, why do you suppose people aren't doing hunts? They are on Gilgamesh. Killing A-rank solo is a pain, and I just can't ever get help. At 40 allied seals, 30 poetics, on top of the law that you get from it. Killing Old World nets you 2 grind items, bones and seeds, with 250 law on the side. It seems much simpler than doing 20 Alexander runs. I don't know. I think people should be doing hunts more, especially for the anima. Not a lot of people don't like hunts, though. It takes quite a bit of effort to actually be an active hunter. To be somebody who just goes to a hunt when it's called is so easy. But people have this ground into their head, or grinded into their head, that they need to be doing Alexander to progress on the anima, and you really don't. I didn't know Alexander 2. I've yet to do any A3, and I'm almost done with both of them. So, the hunt's not a bad thing, especially the S ranks. Taking some effort to spawn the S ranks, you won't regret that. Trust me. Next question. Hey, Haps. Merry Christmas. Have a relic item in a box that looks like it was wrapped by a toddler. I'll take the ore. I need A3 items right now. I have 3 questions this week. The first 2 are features I'd like to see implemented, and I'd like to get your opinion on. And the third is an actual question. If you can only answer one, I'd appreciate it being the third question. Well, let's see what the first ones are like. First one, since we can change the setting to only see detrimental effects we apply, what would you think of them allowing us to pick with debuffs? If we could do that, I would only show my debuffs as a ninja plus Storm's Eye. Those would be the only things I'd show. And it would be pretty nice. I'm perfectly okay with that. If I was another DPS, I'd show Trick Attack and any sort of debuff like the Machinist debuffs and stuff. I would add that to the list too. But only basically debuffs that would increase my damage, or debuffs that were vital to understanding a boss's mechanics. I'd be down for that. I think it's a decent feature. I think it's a little bit difficult to do, but it would not be a bad thing. What if tanks scale damage with it? I think that's going to happen in 3.2. I'm like 99% sure that when they keep saying they're going to change the way their damage calculations work, I'm almost positive they're going to change it from, they're going to make their damage scale with vitality. I am so thinking that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, go for it. Makes it easier to itemize, I guess. And makes it easier on us melee DPS. I mean, my monk isn't my main, but we don't have to roll against fucking tanks for strength accessories. And recently, my FC and Static have been talking about job balancing. As a monk main, it annoys me when I hear them say how monk doesn't contribute effectively. And it does with big dick DPS. That's what they do. Ninja can increase other DPS while monk just hits things. That's true. My Static doesn't have a dark knight. Oh, this is where monk actually does do well. This is where monk is value. On top of that, monk's damage output is phenomenal if it's played correctly, and it's very consistent. So that's what they contribute. Higher single target DPS, higher AoE. Just because they don't contribute to the team's DPS as a whole doesn't mean they're bad. Let's be clear here. Week 2, 6 groups beat A3 Savage after it came out. The world first group, then Lucrezia. I always forget 3, 4, and 5. The order of it was like, I think it was like Synergy, I don't remember number 4, and then Blue Garter, and then our group was the 6th and final group to beat it that time. There was a Paladin in one of those groups, and there was a Monk in one of those groups, and I'm almost positive they were both in the same group. So Monk contributes perfectly fine. It's poppycock. And that, as your question says, why doesn't a Monk's higher DPS directly increasing total raid DPS seem to matter to people? Because the internet told them otherwise. Because they saw a bunch of other people talking about it. And it all does depend, because a Dragoon and a Ninja combined do substantially increase the raid's DPS, more so than I feel a Monk's DPS offsets. But at the same time, you know, it's not like Monk is unplayable in these raids, especially if you don't have a Dark Knight. That's where they become even more value, because shutting that damage down is more time your healers can be DPSing, for example. So I'd say that is also, in a way, a raid DPS contribution and an MP saving contribution as well, which can be an issue for people learning fights for the first time. So I'm just going to say, as long as you're doing the damage your monk should be doing, then you're fine. There's no reason to ever complain about having a monk over one of the other two. You can make any composition that's somewhat reasonable work nowadays, and monk is not excluded in any way. Next question. Hey, Happy. First time viewer, first time asking, so have a WP grind for Darklight gear. Terrible bonus. Terrible. My question is how your stream going to be affected when you move to LA? Are you going to keep the same times or new times because of the time change? Some of them are going to stay the same. Some of them are going to change. Like Thursday, Friday are definitely going to change. I haven't decided the other days yet, but Saturday and Sunday will also probably be slightly later, whereas Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are probably going to stay the same. So hopefully that answers your question, and hopefully those aren't inconvenient times for you. Hopefully earlier times are going to be better for you. Maybe. Hopefully. 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 Next question. Hey, what's happening? Thanks. First time asker, but no ESO bonus for me. In the spirit of Chris Mahana Kwanzaa, the fact that you just moved, well, or I will be moving, what is the most efficient way to support donate you? I hate answering this. Subbing on Twitch, technically, it's not the best way. It's the way I prefer most, because I don't like just getting support without giving something back. I don't feel like I earn that. I feel like a Twitch sub is like, oh, I'm entertaining, they enjoy it, my time, this is what I've earned as a sub. Never look at tips and donations as earned. It's always just an additional way of supporting the channel. Your question, on the other hand, is a continuation of a thread on the official forums. And I have seen that thread already, thankfully, so I know what it's about. Currently, as far as I'm aware, Machinist is the only class with no form of self-healing besides using a potion. Screen is very keen on making all jobs viable. What do you think about these changes to make Machinists on par with Bard, support and survivability-wise? First of all, I don't think that this is what they need to be on par with Bard. This isn't something I would like necessarily change. You know, this wouldn't be on my #1 list. Your #1 is combining Rend, Mine, and Dismantle. That's always great. But the thing is, I would use that extra skill not on a self-heal. So that doesn't really change much for me. Transfusion sacrifices your turret, gives its remaining HP. I would never sacrifice my turret for health as a DPS. I would just never do that. Also, giving a DPS a dedicated heal button, I just feel like it's occasionally useful, but it's not again, it's not something that would make me value Machinist equal to Bard. And also, Rook disables attacks will automatically targets lowest HP members and consumes currents remain. See, that's the thing, I would never do that. I think the only thing, there's two things that keep Bard ahead of Machinist in terms of most people's like look. Even though Machinist can do perfectly fine, a good Machinist will still wreck fucking face. 10k wildfires are the greatest. That being said, Reign of Death is OP as shit because healer DPS is OP as shit. And what's the other one? And they're easier to play. Like, Machinist is very difficult for a lot of people. So those two things in conjunction are things I would target. Does it suck that they don't have a personal heal? Yeah, they could always work that into some sort of other skill that they already have. But I don't think they need to completely rework skills. And if they did get an extra ability slot, I wouldn't spend it on a self-heal. I would rather see them get something else that bridges the gap of those two other things that I just labeled. Hopefully, that's a decent enough answer, but that's where I stand on said topic. Next question. Hey, Hap, first timer, have a Vanu Whitebone bonus. Screw those overweight, no rhythm dancing birds. What do you think about riding the aetherochemical research facility all the way from my unidentified items that can be bought with law? You know, 120 law and 40 bonus. Not a bad idea. The problem is you would want to do that with a pre-made group. It's not a bad idea. I know people who have suggested it and who have done it, so it's not a bad thing to do. But I would do it with a pre-made and run it really fast, not do it in the duty finder and hope for a first time bonus. Just a personal thing. I know you're almost definitely going to get a first time bonus, but I don't think the queue times are going to be that favorable for you because not everyone is queuing up for that. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's a bad idea. I think you should just do it with a pre-made group of 4 and like get 4 people together and be like, we're going to farm law, aetherochemical, 120 law, done. And they'll be like, yes. And you'll be like, yeah. And then you'll look really cool. Next question, late question. If you wanted to make a suggestion to the 14 development team, like making a level 1 race attire dyeable, for example, how'd you go about making it? Well, first of all, don't go to Reddit. Go to the official forum and post it in feedback. Go there and say it. Like, it's not gonna be like some crazy thing. You can even post it in general discussion, but first of all, make sure you're being mature when you're posting these things. Don't be like, what the fuck is the development team doing? Why the fuck do we not have, like, don't use foul language. Don't insult other people for disagreeing with you if they don't. And just, you gotta have tough skin, because otherwise you get banned on there real quick. So, you would go to the official forums and either go to feedback or general discussion, both of them, if anything, just so that way you're making sure it's in the right place and it's in a place where the devs will see it, and then it's also in a place where the community will see it. So hopefully that's an adequate answer to that question. All right, next question. Hey, birthday boy, I'm sure you're getting spoiled with rap bonuses and anima stuff, so I'm gonna give you nothing. Oh. Anywho, I thought of instead of just a dumb question, I can make a game out of it. The rules are I'll ask you a series of very short yes/no-s questions. For every answer that matches mine, you get a point. The answers will be way down at the bottom, and I don't know how to censor them on here, so no peeking. You could have used the spoiler tag, but I'll just try not to peek. Scoreboard 0-3, boo, unsub, unfollow, thumbs down, cry, disgust, I hate you. 4 out of 7, you know, you ain't so bad, Haps. I mean, you still like playing as a filthy healer. It's bait, no flame, please. But you also made ninja like me, so we'll get along. 8 out of 9, damn, you did so well. I'll reward you, plus 50 SOs. I don't even need SOs. The fuck? 10 points, heart, and 2,000 SOs, but you'll never get this many points. Okay. All right, questions. 1, are you more of a Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3, or Fire 4 kind of guy? Or a I'm a Fire, Fire-aga, Fire-aja kind of guy, as much as I understand why they did it. Final Fantasy 13, good or bad game? Good game. Okay, it's in the middle. It's not like it's not a bad game. It has things I don't like about it, though. The linearity, I think, is a bullshit excuse, because Final Fantasy X was super linear until the very end, and no one complained about it then. I just don't like the auto battle. As much as I know you don't have to use it, it's actually less efficient than playing the game. It also doesn't feel as natural. I don't think it's a bad game. I just don't think it's a great game. It's a good game. 3, I heard Demolish was a trash skill to use on monks. Are you fucking kidding me? Demolish is so much fucking damage. Anyone who's saying Demolish is trash, you seriously, what? That's my answer. Moving on. How do you feel about Aeolian Edge positional that was added? It's not bad. It makes you have to be good at positioning, so I have no problem with it. Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. Do you like the color red? I'm colorblind. But if I do pick a color, it's usually a blue or a purple. Like, I resonate with that color more. Have you ever played Disgaea? Free point, this is just out of curiosity. No, because I haven't played it. I have watched a friend play it, but I've never played it. 7, which is better, Clemency or Equilibrium? Is that a fucking question? Equilibrium. Which is easier to play, Monk or Dragoon? I haven't played Dragoon at 60, so that's not a fair answer. I thought that they were both really easy at 50. I think at 60, Monk didn't get much harder. Dragoon got a little bit harder, but I'll go with Monk. Monk's easier to play. And did you know there's a colon instead of an end parentheses in question number 8? Yeah, it's right here. Boom. Done. Easy. Do you recognize my name? What was your name? Like from a specific thing or who you are? Because I know the name. I've seen that name. You've asked questions before, so I recognize it from that. And then Final Fantasy X, but it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to recognize it from anywhere else. So what were the answers? What were the answers? Okay, I got 1 right. Good, duh. Okay, I got that one right. I hope not. Plus, it looks so cool. All right, 4. It sucks. What was 4? 4 was, how do you feel about Aeolian Edge? Okay, that's 1 point off. You better like it. It's my favorite. That's the color red. Okay, I lost that point. 6 was a free point. All right, so even if I don't agree. Clemency, although Equilibrium is very good. Yeah, Clemency fucking sucks compared to Equilibrium. I'll say Dragoon. I said Monk, so, well, did you? And notice me. Noticed, and yeah, so what did I get? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6. So that's, I ain't bad. So we'll get along. All right, that was a fun little game. Let's answer like 1 or 2 more questions now, because that ate a lot of time. All right, so that was, okay, so apparently that was the last question, and I just noticed it right now, which is perfect, because I'm running short on time. I have to get ready to go see my family with my girlfriend, and then we're going to see Star Wars tonight. So anyway, thank you for all the questions. Thank you for the Merry Christmases and the Happy Birthdays and all that stuff. And of course, Happy Holidays back to you again as well. One more time, videos chilling right here. Not a whole lot to choose from. I don't even know if I have 3, to be honest. So if you only see 2, then maybe I'll fill a 3rd one with like my favorite video of the week or something like that. Maybe I'll just like, I have like a Xeno video there or something. Yeah, go watch Xeno's video. Maybe I'll do that. Who knows? But anyway, thank you again. Be sure to ask your questions for next week's video in the forums that are in the description of the video. It says Dream Network Forums. Go there, sign up, ask your questions there, and I'll do my best to answer them. Apologies if I didn't get to yours today, but thank you again for asking them. Yeah. Sometimes I just don't get to every question. Anyway, I will see you all next week when it'll be 2016, and it'll be the first Mondays with Mr. Happy of the year 2016. Anyway, I'll see you guys then, and until then, take care.